Acknowledge me, the one.
He opens up the angle. Oh, he tried the zig, and he should have zagged. And Big Mac says no, not on my turf.
Go, Alex. Oh. Come on, Hill. Windy. Windhanger. Centers it. Moose. Oh. Yes. Is it going to Heath? It is. Go, Moose. If anyone watches the VFL, Max Heath is normally a good shot at goal. Last week it was Taru's chance. This is the Moose's chance. Go, Max. Yes! Get around him! There we go! On your Moose. He loves it too. He loves a goal, Max Heath. Great job. Hello everyone and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. Well, it was the debut of the Moose, Max Heath at the Saints, a long 5-year drought, or 4.5 years, whatever you want to call it. A Project Ruck who's been dominating the VFL for 2 years at least in a row. He's had a combination of players throughout his career. We've had Rowan Marshall and Paddy Ryder. We've had Rowan Marshall and Tom Campbell. We've had Rowan Marshall and Harry Boyd. We've even had the mixture of Harry Boyd and Rowan Marshall, as I said, and even Isaac Keeler. But finally, the right ruck duo combination. We've even had Mitch Owens as a ruck throughout the year at times. So all hail the Moose. The Moose has landed. Max Heath, I was waiting for this debut. It was a long-awaited debut for Max Heath. He's been killing in the VFL. You've had Harry Boyd. You've had Alex Dodson, who's a first-year draftee, playing the VFL at times. Some's been the carryover emergency, including Max Heath recently. He's surpassed Harry Boyd clearly. They want to give the Moose a go because he's more for forward than what Harry Boyd is, and Dodson is only 18, 19 years old, so he'll get his time in a few years' time. Basically in the similar time frame, I reckon, that Max Heath has, unless Rowan Marshall was the lead, but Koning would still be coming in. So Dodson's got time on his hands. Max Heath has time on his hands. It was great to see the Saints go 2 rucks. The big Moose was fantastic on the weekend. Kicked a goal, had about 8-10 disposals. Was a backup ruck to Rowe, had maybe about 10 hit-outs. He had like 7 tackles. His pressure, he brought it to ground where our forwards and Saints teammates kicked goals from it or scored from it. So his pressure was very good. And that rundown tackle on Brodie Grundy was a massive highlight. And to hear the crowd yell out Moose, Moose, was very, very cool. Well under Max Heath. Unfortunately, the Saints, again, Collingwood, Hawthorn, Fremantle, and now Sydney, that we played better than and unfortunately didn't win on the scoreboard. So it's frustrating. But, look, I clearly want to win games, but when you can't mathematically make finals, honestly, why would you want to be so high up the ladder? Your draft pick just gets worse. And in a compromised draft this year, where all the academy clubs, like Gold Coast in particular, have like 5 players in the top 15, it's just ridiculous. And then the Swans have got a young fella named Max King, who'll be around the top 10 as well. And there's other guys around that as well. Dylan Patterson, who's part of Gold Coast AFL Academy, he'll be top 5 as well. Zeke Euland, the brother of Brodie Euland at the Suns. I was going to say the Pies at the Suns. He's going to be a potential pick 1. Dyson Shoves from SA. He's one that's not tied to a club. So we'll have to wait and see. Willem Dersma, potentially pick number 1 as well from Gippsland Power, the brother of Zave and Zane and Yaz Dersma. He'll be potentially pick 1 as well. So we'll have to wait and see there. So, my point is, pick 5 in most drafts might end up being pick 10, pick 12, which you don't want. So it's even more vital than ever that you rather finish 15th than 13th, like seriously. And in this compromised draft, 2 spots up the ladder could cost you about 4 to 6 spots in the draft rankings when the academy bids come in and everything like that. So it could further impact the players you bring in. So you're not really, if you finish 12th, you're potentially going to have like pick 14 as your first pick, which is outrageous to think. So in a compromised draft, this makes this spot even better in terms of the ladder position. You don't want to be 15th. You don't want to be bottom 4. It's not a great feeling, but the signs have been there the last month in particular against Collingwood, Hawthorn, Fremantle, and Sydney. 3 of those 4 are very likely to play finals, and Sydney will probably just miss out. So, it is what it is. Albeit in saying that Freo are no lock. I don't want to hear that they're a lock because they're not. Neither are the Bulldogs. Both pretenders, and they're both making up numbers, as would Hawthorn and Geelong. When the going gets tough and they face sides actually around them on the ladder, they shit the bed. So, yeah. All right, so obviously got my team of the week, my Supercoach talk. I'm going to review the rounds just gone and upcoming. And Scoops Versus Bang, we've got 3 topics to bang on about, and they're 3 explosive ones to talk about. Now, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/CooperG. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/CooperG. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any state league players, and you'd like to see them on the channel in a Golden Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message. I'll try and get something sorted. Alrighty. It is now time to go through my Supercoach. Oh, I'm very mad with my Supercoach this week. I was projected to score like 25-40 and then finished on 20-25. Which is this year's current date. Man. I had Nick Martin do his ACL first quarter. Tuke Miller done his hamstring. The second week I've had him in for, does a hamstring in the second week. Tristan Cherry is currently got a 3-week suspension, which is bullshit and should be 0. They'll probably be contesting that tonight. We'll have to wait and see, or tomorrow if they are. I haven't seen anything to say they have or haven't, which is bizarre, as I'm recording this earlier on in the piece. Then, who else did I have? I had Dacos be captain. That's Nick Dacos. And he just shit the bed. Scored an 80 as captain. I had Callum Mills get like 55. Bergman get like 60-something. And who was the other player? I swear I had another one. Oh, yeah, and Rosie subbed off early in the third and is in doubt for this week. So, it's just bullshit. I've just had injuries everywhere. I had 5 trades going into this week. So I had to use not all 3, 2 of them because I don't have a boost left. So is it Martin? I've got cover for Martin in Archie May if I need. I've got cover for Rosie if need with Tom McCarthy. I've got cover for Tuke Miller with Hugh Boxall if need be. But, and plus I sort the plays around, defender mids, mid forwards, flex player, everything like that. So, and Miller was in my flex. So, yeah, it's just frustrating. I've moved Bergman around and everything like that. So, it's disappointing. At this stage, if Cherry remains suspended, he will be out with Tuke Miller. That's my plan for the moment. So that means from the top 7% all the way down to the top 11%, which is really frustrating. So I've used 2 trades this week. Miller is out, and at the moment, Cherry is out, but this could easily change. Use your moves wisely and don't bring in hacks in your team. So, yeah, that's my score for this round. Where are you in the ranking system? Obviously, with a few weeks to go in my Scoops Fan Club League, or well, more than that, let's look at the leaderboard, shall we? Who's on top? I bet you it's Shane-O. Yep, it is Shane. He is on first place. His overall ranking is 228. Well done, Shane. We've got Jesse, who is second. He's 377th in the overall rankings. We've got Jack, which is Doritos, at 528. We've got the Spud Factory, which is Cameron, at 543 overall ranking in 4th place. And Jesse, whose name's got Poulter in it. He's in 5th place. So that's my top 5 in my Scoops Fan Club League. Yeah, I was going to say if you want to join it, you can. There's the code, but, it is what it is. All right, now it's time for that world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Boom. Well. Carlton fans really need to get a grip. Okay. First, your fan base abused the shit out of your coach. I feel bad for Michael Voss. Now, it was a Collingwood fan that apparently sent that pathetic text message or whatever it was. So that person has rightfully been banned for 5 years. But that's not what I'm talking about. The Carlton fan base as a whole, for a good portion of them, are pretty dodgy people. Like, who continuously shits on your coach like the way they do? I feel bad for Port Adelaide with Ken Inkley. He gets cops the same amount of shit from Port fans. So both their clubs' fan bases are feral. Well, not all of them, of course, but some are feral. It's just, I feel bad for Vossi in this circumstance they're in, how much blame can you put on the players and how much can you put on the coaches? I feel like the players are the ones shitting the bed. Paddy Cripps, until the weekend, had been shit for most of this year. Charlie Curnow can't kick straight, and a lot of players are underperforming. Like Wiedering is hit and miss at the moment. De Koning's playing forward, and Pitnet's a ruck now. Now, that's a coaching problem with the Pitnet-De Koning combination. But everything else, like the players' on-field performance, is not Vossi's fault. That's the onus on the players. So if they're shitting the bed, I'm sick of the coach getting blamed. In every club situation, the players never get the blame. And if they do, it's a very small portion of them that get the blame. It's always the coaches that cop the full brunt of the abuse, which I think is ridiculous. Now, the Tom De Koning Bronx cheers and booing, might I add, from the Carlton fans is completely unacceptable. No wonder your club's a mess right now. No wonder in all facets is the club a joke right now. Like, your fan bases are turning on each other. You got people burning their memberships. You got people graffitiing at Icon Park, which is pathetic as well. You're abusing your coach from the sidelines, online. It's pretty stuffed up. And then you want to go and Bronx cheer Tom De Koning, by the way, who's been playing fine. He's playing as a forward now, so mainly more so than a ruck, which that's another issue. But, he's trying his best. Like I'm sure some of those other players are, because not all of them are, but some are. So why is he getting the Bronx cheers? Is it because he's going to leave your shit club? I mean, no wonder he wants to leave that dump, because his own fan base have turned on him for months. Think of it in his shoes. Would you like it if you were getting Bronx cheered for every disposal you had and booed every game you're at because you're considering another offer from another club in St Kilda? Last time I checked, plenty of players leave clubs every damn year. There's probably at least 15, 20 that get traded or go as free agents, whatever, or are delisted, then go somewhere else. Do you boo all those players? Bullshit. Now, for example, players that leave as a trade or free agent, you can be pissed off. I suppose you can boo them when they're gone. But then when they're one of your own, and of course there's limitations on that, you have to be respectful, of course. But if the player's still at your club and hasn't officially made up his mind, very, very hypocritical Carlton fans to be Bronx cheering and booing one of their own. No wonder Tom De Koning wants to leave that dump, because he's been treated like garbage from his own fan base. And put your shoes in his shoes. Think about it if the roles were reversed. Would you turn down 1.7 million or thereabouts per year? Bullshit, you would. You're all hypocrites. What he's likely to do and take the Saints' offer, all of you would do the same. So don't go booing and Bronx cheering a guy when you would go and do the exact same damn thing. You cannot tell me you would turn down 1.7 billion per year for 7 years or thereabouts and not expect to be booed. Like, you are hypocrites. The Carlton fan base, when they lose, they're absolute ferals. They are ferals. And they are proving my point and lots of other people's points every single week. Like, they abuse their coach. They abuse their players. They don't turn up when they lose. They leave early. I remember last year when Jack Higgins temporarily knocked them out of the finals. The amount of abuse they gave their players was absolutely embarrassing. I was sitting next to dodgy Carlton supporters. Yes, all club supporter bases have dodgy supporters, but Carlton had a chunk of them, and it's just like pretty stuffed up with the way they treat their own players consistently. Like, you can be frustrated for sure. Like, if a player turns it over, you can be frustrated in that moment. But like, the way Carlton fans go about it is pretty stuffed up. And they should lift their game. It's pathetic, it's embarrassing. And I feel for Tom De Koning, come to a real club, Tom. You won't be treated like that. That's for sure. In fact, most other clubs wouldn't treat you like that. Well, most other clubs' fan bases wouldn't treat their own players like that. Now, players can be dropped. You can ask for people to be dropped or whatever. Bronx cheering, I don't like it in the circumstances of how they're doing it. So lift your game, Carlton fans. It's absolutely pathetic. For not only the treatment of Tom De Koning, but of your own coach, Michael Voss, and the absolute feral Carlton supporters who graffitied at Icon Park, you're absolute losers. Simple as that. All because your team is going shit, and maybe, just maybe think that your team or your fan base are part of the big problem of that club right now. Now, what I also didn't like on the weekend was Charlie Cameron smashing Haynes into the ground in that Carlton-Brisbane game as well. You know, like, what was Charlie Cameron doing? That was the Lockie Cowan incident, which is one of the next things I want to bang on about. But so think about it this way, okay? So Lockie Cowan should have had a free, or the ball should have been balled up, but we'll get to that in a second. So that play led to Brisbane getting the ball because it wasn't brought back. And, you know, Charlie Cameron got a cheap disposal because he hangs out the pack all the time. He's having a shit year, Charlie Cameron. This guy would be acting like he's won the Coleman already or something, or he's actually a good player, because he's not a good player at all. He's well past his best. Sure, he had a good career over time, but this year he's been absolutely shit. So he's won the talk about form, and it's not even about form here. It's the dirty act he did. Like, Haynes, you know, was the guy who the ball should have gone to, and Charlie Cameron handled over the top. I think Cam Rayner got the goal or something. And then Charlie Cameron, Haynes was on the ground, and then Charlie Cameron had to jumper punch him and throw him in the ground. Like, that's real tough, Charlie. Go try that to Noah Bolter or Tom Lynch and see how that lasts. See how well that lasts. It won't be as good as that one, I'll tell you that right now, because Haynes didn't really retaliate so bad. You're lucky that was only Haynes and no one else that has, you know, bent up aggression all the time or players are like fighting, because it's poor taste. It is poor taste. And I don't like any players that do that. There was someone that did that last week, which I brought up, and Josh Tracy did it to Nasai Wanganeen-Malera in Perth about a month ago, and I didn't like it then. Patrick Voss throwing his weight around thinking he's a tough guy. Aiden Johnson's the sniper. You know, players that do all that, you know, it's not even funny. Go and get a kick. That's what I say. Because Charlie Cameron hasn't got a kick all year. Been absolutely terrible. And that act was pathetic. Now, what was also pathetic is the umpires costing Carlton a goal from Lockie Cowan. So the ball was kicked to Lockie Cowan, and the umpire got in the way. So common sense, like some of the journos and that have said on TV, the commentators on radio, whatever, the common sense thing there in that example was to ball it up. Now, Carlton were out, so they got screwed twice in some way, shape or form, because the ball was going to Haynes, who would have been loose, and he would have streamed inside 50, and who knows what would have happened from there. But instead, because the umpire got in Lockie Cowan's way, he got screwed, and the team got screwed, and Brisbane ran into an open goal, essentially. Like I said, Cameron over the top, and Rayner goal, or whoever it was, and that's all she wrote. Carlton was shit, didn't change the result, but I don't give a shit about the margin. It's the fact of the matter is that this umpiring is piss poor. It is pathetic. Okay? It's pathetic. The common sense thing there is to go, umpire, okay, they stuffed up, so let's ball it up. Not, stuff it, we just screwed them over, now Brisbane's got a goal out of it, and think, nah, we're all good. It's bullshit. It is actually embarrassing. And then, make it even worse, players are now getting fined. Yes, fined, or now suspended, or sent to the tribunal, right, for umpire contact. The umpire should know where to move. Don't run into the player, then fine or suspend the player. That is bullshit. Adam Chera this week has gone to the tribunal for it. It is quite laughable. So the umpires initiate the contact, and the players are getting suspended or fined for it. Make that make sense. The umpires need to learn how to get out of the way and not position themselves in that position. And when you ball it up and then you run out and the player's got to follow their man, right? What are you going to tell them to move? And then their play gets loose, they get ripped into by the coaches going, what a weak effort that was, or something like that. Like, the umpires need to learn to do their job, because not only can't they umpire, they now don't know how to move. And the players are getting blamed for that. 99.9% of the umpire contact is the umpire's fault. And of course, the AFL blame the players. How about the AFL actually blame their own department for once and stop blaming everyone else? Admit you're wrong. And in that moment, common sense should have prevailed where the ball was balled up. I mean, if it was me, I would probably say, Carlton should be able to have that ball back where they were and have a free kick from where Lockie Cowan was. But at worst, ball it up. It's bullshit. Common sense. Anyone that says that Brisbane deserved the goal like that, you don't know football and you have zero ball knowledge. That was bullshit. And you don't have to barrack for Carlton to be pissed off there. Plus, they got a lot of things to be pissed off about Carlton, as I just alluded to before. But this is a joke. Now, the final thing to bang on about Tristan Cherry and Max Gawn incident. Not Max Gawn, sorry, Tom Sparrow. Now, number one, we wish Tom Sparrow all the best and hopefully he's all good and back to playing football very soon. But Tristan Cherry did effectively nothing wrong. It was a clumsy hit. Absolutely. But what was Tom Sparrow doing? If you want to compare this to Connor Nash and Alex Pearce and who's that other player? Lewis Melican. Lewis Melican, not Pearce. Pearce was something different. Lewis Melican and Connor Nash did. They are far worse than this Cherry one. Cherry deserved to have a free against him, absolutely. And it's unfortunate that Sparrow got concussed. But stop suspending people based off the outcome. It's the action that you should be suspended for, not the outcome. I'm sick of players being suspended for outcomes. Yet Alex Pearce knocked someone out, got given 3 weeks, went to the tribunal and got it off. So you thought they turned the corner there, but of course they haven't. Now, Tristan Cherry, if it's been appealed, has to get off. And if North don't appeal this, I'll be shocked. What could have Cherry done more in that situation? Just let him run past him and then get roasted by the coaching staff again? Like, it was definitely a clumsy hit and was a free kick to Melbourne. I was going to say to Port. It was definitely a free kick to North. Not to North, to Melbourne, sorry. It was definitely a free to Melbourne. But on what planet can you tell me what could he have done outside of letting him go? He couldn't do anything else. It's unfortunate that Sparrow got concussed, but Cherry should not have been suspended. Now, generally the criteria for this is it was under careless, and it's basically 3 or 0 weeks. If it was 1, I'd be like, whatever, kind of. Be not happy with it, but I'll be like content with it a little bit, just a little bit. But 3 weeks for that, bullshit. Yet you got players sniping shot people, sniping. You having people that do dirty sniper shots like Aiden Johnson did to Wangani Malira in Alice Springs, where that should have been like 4 to 6 weeks for a dirty act like that. Or when Connor Nash did what he did and other players that have done this year. Or, there's been some other dirty hits this year. And he gets 3 weeks for that. Paul Curtis got 3 weeks for a perfect tackle. Now Cherry's got 3 weeks for an accidental clip to the face. Like, seriously. He didn't aim for his face. He moved down Sparrow and got hit. It's unfortunate, but he didn't do it on purpose. It was clumsy, a fine, and that's it. Or maybe not even a fine. A week is ridiculous as well, but just a free kick for me. That's all. It's ridiculous. But to the AFL, to the Carlton fan base, lift your game. It's absolutely pathetic. Hope you all enjoyed that edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Boom. Right, now, it is now time to go through my Scoops Round 18 AFL Team of the Week. Right, from the back line, the Pockets, Jordan Clark and John Noble. Full back, Harry Edwards. Half back line, the flankers, Archie Roberts and Josh Dacos. Centre half back, Callum Wilkie. Wingers, Carl Amon and Matt Rowell. Centreman, Marcus Bontempelli. Half forward line, the flankers, Bailey Fritsch and Jake Melksham. Centre half forward, Riley Thilthorpe. Forward, Aaron Norton. In the pockets, Aaron Cadman and Cooper Harvey. Ruck, Lloyd Meek, Rovers, Zach Butters, and Marcus Winhager. Interchange, the man of steel, your Saints skipper, Jack Steele. Noah Anderson, Joe Richards, Max Hall, and Jake Stringer. The emergencies, Josh Dunkley, Lockie Whitfield, Tim Taranto, Lockie Neal, Finn Callahan, Harry Sheasel, Darcy Wilmot, Nick Vlosten, Sam Sutzkowski, and Tom Stewart. Now, the reasons for all these selections are as follows. A long list of emergencies means generally it's a hard team for me to pick this week. It's fair to say. So, let's get the team on the screen now, shall we? So, that's my team this week. It was a hard team to pick this week, to be honest. It really was. Jordan Clark at 31, he was really good. Harry Edwards did a great job on the Port Tools and had about 12 intercept possessions. John Noble had 30 disposals. Archie Roberts at 31. Josh Dacos kicked 2 and 32. And 16 of those in the last quarter with the 2 goals. Had like 6 to 8 clearances in the last quarter alone. So he was phenomenal. Callum Wilkie had 24 odd disposals and had about 12 intercepts, so he gets in. Carl Amon had 30 disposals for the Hawks, did well. Matt Rao was phenomenal. A lot of contested possessions, clearances and tackles, and around 30 disposals. Marcus Bontempelli had 37 touches with 6 goal assists, which is, wow, he actually had a good game for once. Bailey Fritsch kicked a few goals with 20 disposals. He did good. Who else have we got here? So we got Riley Thilthorpe. He kicked 6 goals with 17 disposals and like 10 marks. Deserved him. Melksham had a good game as well. Aaron Cadman kicked 6. He was fantastic. Aaron Norton kicked 5. He was good. And Cooper Harvey kicked 4 and deserved a spot in the team. Lloyd Meek had about 50 hitouts and deserved a spot as he beat Jackson and Darcy. Zach Butters had 38 disposals, deserved a spot. Marcus Winhager is him. 36 disposals, 89% disposal efficiency, like 8 clearances as well, and score involvements. And Windy had a great game yet again, having a great year. The man of steel, Jack Steele, the skipper, 1 goal, 25 disposals, 13 tackles, a lot of those contested, a few clearances. Just his impact was well, I would argue this was Steele's best game. It definitely wasn't his best disposal game, but absolutely it was his best game as his impact was through the roof. His pressure points would have been high. In my eyes, it was he or Windy for the best player on the ground in the Saints game. And, I'm leaning towards Steele at the moment, to be honest. So, he did very, very well. Noah Anderson had a really good game. He kicked 2, I think, with 30 disposals. Joe Richards kicked 2 goals, 3 with 23 disposals, a half forward. Max Hall kicked 3 and 15, and Jake Stringer kicked 4, the package, and had a really good game. Dunkley was phenomenal, and he was probably the stiffest one of the lot. Vlosten was considered as well very highly, as was Finn Callahan and Tim Taranto. They're the ones, and Neil. They're the ones that were probably next off the rank to be picked, but that's the team I've gone with. So let me know down below what your thoughts are of my Round 18 Scoops AFL Team of the Week. All right, let's go review the Round 18 games, shall we? So, Dan Butler's injury, his elbow injury, was absolutely horrible to see. And Dan's been listed as TBC, so we probably won't see him again this year, unfortunately. They're going to wait a week, they said, to see how he pulls up. That was horrible to see, and wish Dan Butler all the best. Thinking of you, Dan. The Butler brothers haven't had good luck as of late. Sam Butler broke his leg last year in a VFL game, and Dan's now had that horrible elbow injury, and both have had injuries in between all that. So we wish both Butlers all the best. Now, so it was Thursday night. It was Carlton. It was Brisbane 66 to 103. Brisbane by 37 points. Look, that they did what they had to do. Brisbane, Neil and Dunkley and Zorko and Wilmot And Rayner was okay. Were all phenomenal. The first lot I just said. For Carlton, it was Pitman had his moments, I guess. Cripps was pretty good, but there wasn't many other good soldiers for Carlton. Collingwood were held goalless for 2.5 quarters. Late in the third quarter, they kicked a goal from Tim Membry, my man, the skunk, Timmy Membry. Collingwood 63, defeated by Gold Coast, up on the Gold Coast, 69-63, Suns by 6 points. Collingwood had some chances late. They actually hit the lead. Now, for a team that was held goalless for basically 3 quarters and only lost by a goal, is to show how damn good the Pies are. They were so inaccurate. They're like 0-14 or something like that. So give Collingwood all the credit in the world. The side that never gives up, and a lot of teams should take that motto, never give up, like John Cena says. He was phenomenal, and you know what? They've got to give a lot of flowers have got to be given to Collingwood for this performance. You know, they can afford to lose a game. You don't want to lose a game. Pendlebury was the sub, and as soon as Pendles came on, the silky mover, the star midfielder, winger, can play it forward too, halfback. He was phenomenal, and they were the reason why they came back, along with both Dacos brothers, and Timmy Membry up forward, and Jamie Elliott up forward. So, you know, they didn't win though. Rowell and Anderson and Noble were easily North Melbourne Gold Coast's best players. Gee, North wish they had those three. Boy, oh boy, where are we? But for the Suns, not the Roos, they were really, really good for the Suns. So, yep, there we go. Ben King kicked 3 or 4 as well. All right, next game to go through is on Saturday. It was Western Bulldogs 98 to Adelaide 109. Adelaide by 11 points. Now, I believe Jordan Butts had a collapsed lung. He got dog shot by Tom Lynch 2 weeks ago, then played last week, and then now has a collapsed lung. He's not having a great 3 weeks, is Jordan Butts, so we wish Jordan all the best. It's just shit to see, so we wish Jordan all the best. But that game, the Crows were on top for the whole game. You know, they only won by 11, 109 to 98. But don't let the scoreboard fool you. The Crows were always well ahead and got the job done. And Dawson and Rankin, some of Adelaide's better players, with obviously Riley Thilthorpe, who kicked 6 and 7, as I mentioned before in my team of the week. For the Bulldogs, Bonapelli was their best player, and Liberatory was okay, I guess. The rest, not many showed up at all. Right, the next game to go through is GWS and Geelong. GWS 111 defeated the Geelong Football Club 85 Giants by 26 points. The GWS Giants own and cooked the Geelong Football Club at home or far away. Geelong's banner's not flying high from dawn to dark down at that Shavers Stadium. Geelong can't beat GWS at GMHBA or at NG Stadium or on planet Earth. The Giants own the Geelong Football Club. The Giants own the Geelong Football Club. Lecalier says hello. He beat them at GMHBA. Finn Callahan, Toby Green, Tom Green, Lockie Whitfield in game 251 onto Lockie Whitfield, superstar. All killed it. And also congratulations to, before I forget, to Mason Wood and Rowan Marshall for game 150. The stock take, Liam Stocker, with his 50th Saints game. Anthony Caminetti, it's hammer time. He played his 50th career game in the Moose. Max Heath, who made his debut for the Saints, as I mentioned off the top. So there's some other milestones for the round. But yeah, great to see the Giants own the Geelong Football Club. Geelong was shit. Bailey Smith's shit efficiency continues. 50-something percent, 52, I think, with 8 turnovers. That's pathetic. You know, people say he's going to win the Brownlow. I just laugh because, number one, he's missed 3 games. He goes at 50% efficiency a lot of the time. So if he wins the Brownlow, it just shows how rigged it truly is. And he goes for Geelong. Well, doesn't go for Geelong. He plays for Geelong. So match fixing exists. So if he wins it, it's rigged because he shouldn't be anywhere near it. And he's missed 3 games. The Giants were phenomenal and Geelong were shit. Richmond, 46, defeated Essendon 37. Richmond by 9 points. Yes, you hear that correctly. This was deemed as the worst game of the year. But they're 2 teams that are struggling, so I don't know what you expected. But then again, Hawthorn and Adelaide in Tassie was one of the worst games I'd seen all year, and there was another game around that time frame. Might have been the week before or after, around 12-13 range. There was another shit game that week that was a contender for worst game of the year. But yeah, I could see why people say this game was shit, because it was. Richmond in Nick Vlosson's 250th game, they got the job done for their 3-time premiership hero, who had a good spoil at the end of the game as well, when it was kind of sealed already, but he put the icing on the cake there, did Vlosten. Archie Roberts was good. Zach Merritt was good for the first half when he had 20 touches and then finished with 30 only. Well, only, but no impact in the second half. What's wrong with Essendon? Nate Caddy's going to miss this week with groin soreness, apparently, and Setterfield won't play, and unfortunately Martin done his ACL. We wish Martin all the best, and Setterfield. And there's another Essendon player I forgot that's going to miss this week. It was mentioned this morning. It was Caddy and someone else. But anyway, they got another player out this week. So the injury curse continues at the Bombers. At Richmond, Tim Taranto was really good and Vlosten was really good as well. Nankervis was okay also. The next game to go through was the other night game on Saturday. It was Freo 77, Hawthorn 64. Freo by 13 points. It was Sarong, it was Bray Shaw, it was Jordan Clark, it was Luke Ryan, their main key pillars that were their best players. Sam Stokowski hit 3 and 16. He apparently got 10 coaches votes, which I think is ridiculous. But not to say he didn't have a good game, but 10 coaches voted, seriously. And Lloyd Meek did well as well. So for the Hawks. But yeah, Freo were always that little bit ahead, but never thought they were definitely winning, but they got the win, so it's good for them. The Sunday games, the first one was Melbourne and North Melbourne. Melbourne 119 defeated the Roos 83. The Demons by 36. You know, if you're a Melbourne fan, you're happy to get the win and you move on, because last time you had a lead at 3/4 time earlier this year, you end up losing by 10 plus goals in 1 quarter, which was downright embarrassing, right? But then on the weekend, North were a few goals behind for most part of the game, and they looked like they were a small chance to win. Well, not a small chance, a good chance to win. Then the last quarter happened, and what happened to them in round 2, they did half of what North did to them in round 2 in the last quarter to them, and they won by 36 points convincingly in the end. Melksham was their best player, along with Fritsch. Who won the ruck battle? I mean, Gordon's numbers weren't spectacular, but Sherry's also playing injured, I feel, and hence the frustration is shown with Gorn. And no one hurt each other there in that ruck battle, to be honest. The Saints, 87 to Sydney, 92. Errol Gordon got a late goal. The Saints had a few chances, a few turnovers going inside 50, which is frustrating. But I feel like we were the better side. And this week, a bit like one of the other games, we just didn't capitalise on our domination in the play. We'd be winning a lot of the key stats and just not getting it done again. You know, there's no disgrace in losing to any of the sides we've just lost to recently in Collingwood, Hawthorn, Freo and Sydney. But we should have won all of them. We really should. We were better than all those 4 teams throughout the whole game as a whole. And just, it was whether it was goal kicking, umpiring. But in this game, it was just small little things. Errol Gordon got a nice goal from Grundy in the ruck that ended up being the winning goal. But Will Hayward marked the ball in the car park. Hayden McLean pulled Caminiti's jumper where Caminiti's gut was being shown, yet Hayden McLean got the goal, or got the free, which led to a goal in the first quarter, and we lost by 5. Therefore, that shouldn't have happened. Therefore, we win by 1 point, so we were robbed. And Will Hayward marked it in the car park, got a nice check side goal, might I add. So you take that off, we win by 7. So it's just bullshit umpiring. It really is. But whatever. Max Heath was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic. It was the Moose. So was Windy, and Cal in the back line, and Steely was phenomenal, and Rowan Marshall did well after quarter time. So the last game, Port Adelaide West Coast. Port Adelaide, they were losing at 3/4 time, half time, and quarter time. So full credit to the Eagles, but a bit like North, up for most of the game. In fact, they were up for pretty much the majority of it, the Eagles, where Melbourne were ahead of North. But West Coast, again, the last quarter fade-outs. It just cost them 61-87, Port by 26. If you're a Port fan and you're happy with how you went, you are completely and utterly delusional. They almost lost to a Waffle side who have Oscar Allen out, had Liam Ryan out, Jack Graham was out, and Elliot Yeo was out. So, and then McGovern and Dom Sheed have retired, who were injured this year. So, you know, they're missing a lot of players. So full credit to the Eagles. Away from home, Harley Reid had a solid game as well in the midfield, matching up on Horne-Francis, which, let's be real, Horne-Francis got 2 cheap goals in the last 6 minutes, so I would say they both were about equal. As for the team as a whole, for North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Zach Butters was good. Rosie went off with a finger injury and it looked a bit bizarre, and then he's in doubt for this week, so really hope that Connor Rosie plays. Zach Butters was really good. Georgiades was good up 40. He's having a great month or two as Mitch Georgiades. Their ruck situation is shocking. Sweet, Soldo, Dante Visentini. They need a real ruck. They're just fringe players. Need a good ruck. And they need to find a way to get someone in good. Sam Draper, is he the solution? I don't know if he is. Adelaide's the one linked to him, not Port. Port should just offload their 3 SANFL hack rucks and bring in someone like Sam Draper, I guess. It's an upgrade on what they've got, put it that way. And Draper can kind of play forward a little bit as well, which helps them if they need a tall forward option as well. But the Eagles did well, but unfortunately Port Adelaide got it done in the last quarter when it mattered. So that's round 18 results. Let's now preview to wrap us up this evening with the round 19 games, shall we? All right, so we got Thursday night. We have Essendon hosting the Giants at Marvel Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Victorian time. I'll be clearly tipping the Giants in this one by 60 points. Now, next game on Friday night is none other than Brisbane hosting the Western Bulldogs, 7:40 p.m. Victorian time at the Gabba. I'll be tipping the Brisbane Lions in this one by 30 points. Saturday, 1:20 in Tassie at Launceston. It's Hawthorn hosting Port, 1:20 Vic time. I'll be tipping the Hawks in this one by 15 points. 4:15 on Saturday at the SCG. It's Sydney hosting North. I'll be tipping the Swans in this one by 38 points. Saturday night, don't know what happened there. Saturday night, 7:35 p.m. at the MCG. It's Carlton hosting Melbourne. I'll be tipping Melbourne in this one by 10 points. I really don't know where to go with this. Melbourne should be more on than Carlton, but we'll have to wait and see. Saturday night at Optus Stadium, West Coast hosting Richmond, 8:10 Vic time, 6:10 Perth time. I'll be tipping the Eagles in this one by 5 points. At home, I feel like they might get the job done. If it was at the MCG, I would tip Richmond. Noah Bolter won't be playing, so I'll be tipping West Coast. Job Shanahan, another good game on the weekend, by the way. Right, so the Sunday games, the first game at GMHBA Stadium, aka Shavers Stadium, 1:10 Vic time. It's Geelong hosting my Saints. Well, you know that the Saints own Geelong, just like GWS do, because the Saints are on the last 2 matchups against Geelong, albeit both are Marvel. Now, if you recall back to round 1 of 2024, the most rigged game of umpiring I've ever seen. If you remember that vlog, I don't get that animated, but that game I did. Gee, if match fixing ever existed, it was in that game. And to see the robbery the Saints endured that game was horrible. Liam Stocker got his legs taken out. Dangerfield got a free for it, and they effectively got the win based off that play. So it was just frustrating. So the Saints owned them the last 2 times at Marvel. Let's hope we can break our GMHBA hoodoo at this ground. So we'll have to wait and see how we go here. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to go the Saints by 15 points in this one. The final 2 games to go through on Sunday is Collingwood and Fremantle, 3:15 p.m. Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Pies in this one by 38 points. I don't think Freo are that good, especially at the MCG. And the final game of round 19 is Adelaide hosting Gold Coast at the Adelaide Oval, 4:40 p.m. Victorian time. This is a real hard one to tip, but I'm going to tip the Suns in this one by 5 points, even though it's in Adelaide. My final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com. Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, and you'd like to see them on the channel in a Gold King Challenge and or interview, please just send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Thank you all. Until the next video or next week of this episode, take care and go Saints.